Well, the tight end's an important piece in the West Coast system, and actually we did use our tight ends more than you might think in St. Louis, but Watson had a terrific year, probably a breakout year as his career goes, and we'd anticipate he'll continue with that. But that's a key piece when you're throwing the football.
One of the things the media and fans talked about with the Colts was the reluctance to throw downfield and open up the game a little bit more. Can you talk a little bit about the thinking behind your offensive game plan with the Rams?
Yeah, I don't know about reluctance to. As an offense, what you try to do is do the things you do well, and then obviously each week try to attack the weaknesses of the defenses you face. So I think it's important you throw the football down the field, but I also think it's important that you're efficient, and then I think it's equally important that when you run the football, you're physical and efficient as well. So.
Part of the decision with that to maybe bring Bradford along as well, not pretty heavy as a starter.
Well, Bradford obviously progressed extremely well, starting the first game and playing like he did. And so, you're trying to win football games. And I think regardless of who you're playing or what team you're on, I think you try to do with the talent that you have to beat the team you're playing.
I'm sure you've talked about this a lot, but can you just talk about Fritz and what he meant on your in life and professionally?
Yeah, Uncle Fritz. He was obviously a great inspiration for me as a coach, and then it was interesting. One of the first pictures I hung up in my office was a picture of Fritz, who at the time was coaching at Albion, talking to my dad, who he coached. My father was actually 9 years younger than Fritz, and so had an opportunity. At least I have a photo of those two together back in the early 60s. But Uncle Fritz was a huge inspiration to me in the profession. And he and my father obviously taught me the things that I feel are necessary to be a successful coach in this league.
So how did you become an offensive guy when he was such a defensive guru?
Because I played offense. When I went to Michigan State, actually, I was a linebacker. And then started as a freshman as an offensive lineman at a period where there was some transition, and then ended up getting hurt, redshirt in my second year. Then I came back and played center. And then after that, my coaching career kind of went down that path of offensive line to tight end to quarterbacks. Well, the West Coast offense, if there's 300 people in the room, it may get defined 300 different ways, but it's really what you tell the quarterback. It's how you train the quarterback, from footwork and timing and decision making. It's a passing game that's highly efficient, which really banks on accuracy, so you can get it to the receivers so they can run with it. There are throws down the field, which are very important. And then a little bit of a broader definition is how you practice, when you're in pads, when you're not, so that as you go through the length of an NFL season, you're trying to play your best football at the end of the year. So it's about efficiency. It's about the quarterback. But in any offense, obviously, it starts up front with the offensive line. Well, guys that can catch and beat, bump, and run. I think those are the things you're looking for. I'm not trying to make a joke there, but I think it's important that receivers make the routine plays routinely. And so guys that have great ball skills and can catch the ball when they're alone as well as when they're covered, I think that's important. Yeah. One of the fundamental routes in the West Coast, or really any system, is the ability to run a slant route, because you've got a chance to throw the ball on 3 steps, get the ball to the receiver quickly, and then have a chance to really have a big gain if he can catch and run with it. Yeah, I'm very. In fact, we were just talking about this off the stage here, but I'm very, very proud of my upbringing in the Detroit area. I'm very proud, and I've always felt like I'm a product of my environment. It was a good, solid way to grow up, and I'm glad to be back in this region. I feel like a lot of the things that we were taught in Detroit are the things that are bleeding through and now in Cleveland, and so I'm excited to be back. I'm 2 hours from home, so it's realistic for me to get in the car and drive home, have lunch with my mom, and then be back for afternoon work.
Oklahoma State's Ori Lemon in Table 2.
Pardon? Well, I'm sure she would like it more than I'm going to be able to, but the fact that it's close enough where I can, I think I'm looking forward to it. Business as usual. I'm basically putting together the calendar for our off season with the idea that we're going to have mini camps and OTAs and then training camp preparation. So it's business as usual. That model I can visualize very well, and that's what we're proceeding with. I'm sorry?
I said, can you tell us a little about the vetting process you went through with Sam Bradford last year?
Yeah, we were in a situation last year with the first pick in the draft where we were going to try to pick the player that best fit. And obviously, as we went through it, the discussion was picking a quarterback. And so we evaluated it all, and the best pick for St. Louis was Sam Bradford. The good part of that was I had an opportunity to evaluate all the quarterbacks in the draft, which included Colt McCoy. And so I'm very excited that I'm going to have an opportunity to work with him. I have a high appreciation for what he is as a person and as a player, and I'm looking forward to putting that into play.
Some people available at the sixth pick that might be kind of one-year wonders. I just wonder how you feel about a guy who really only had one big season.
Yeah, the sixth pick. What we're going to try to do is get a guy that's going to be with us for a long time and make an impact on our team immediately. And I think that's the important thing. There's a lot of different ways we can go with that, and that's where this combine is very important. I mentioned it earlier, but the scouts have done such a huge body of work to this point, and this is one of the events where you focus in now the coaches and their thoughts on players so we can decide on who we're going to draft and go to work. So that's where we're at.
The guy's only had one big season, that doesn't bother you?
Yeah, the one-year wonder question, I'm sorry, I didn't really answer that. It is a little bit of a concern, or I guess if he's only done it for 1 year, we want to find out why. And there are reasons that may keep you from doing something, but there are also reasons why it won't concern us. And so I think each situation in the one-year wonder category are different, and it's just important for us to find out why.
Have you had the chance to study any of these D-linemen?
I've looked at some, but I'm going to hold judgment right now.
Coach, when you interviewed for the position, has your opinion changed on position needs from the time you interviewed to where you are now when you had the time to really study the people?
I think I had an idea of what we were going to do as we move forward, and so I think I've basically had a little bit more time now to highlight some of the specific needs based on where we're going to go with our team. We got to have a couple of secrets though, But I think as we go along, I've had more time to watch our team from a year ago. We've made some moves in personnel already, and so those two things combined with what we might do in the draft and free agency, we have a decent idea where we're going.
Was it a long-term goal of being an NFL head coach? It didn't happen quicker than you expected.
I always had hoped that I'd have an opportunity to do this. I've been given good advice all along to just keep doing your job, and when the time is right, somebody will call. And so to be in this situation with these people, with Coach Holmgren as the president and Tom Heckert and all the great pieces in place, I'm just honored to be here. And then I feel good about the training that I received, my 10 years in Philadelphia, and I worked for Nick Saban, and then first George Perlis, who I played for and had such great success in the NFL, also coach for coach, and then to basically kind of pull it all together our 2 years in St. Louis. I feel very, I guess, as prepared as you can be for this challenge.
How do you like it so far?
No, I've enjoyed it. I made the comment last night that all the hours really don't mean much because as coaches, we're making a living in a profession that's primarily our hobby, and so nothing has changed there.
Pat, what can you take from last year's draft experience, as an offensive coordinator, to this year as a head coach?
Well, I just won't be fighting for offensive guys. You know, I got other things to consider. But that experience was great because we were in a position to pick high in the draft, which I think is an important piece. And then I feel good about how we communicated last year to come to the decision to pick Sam. And then the other players, you know, as you go through it. Roger Saffold, who played left tackle every single game in the NFL and played at a very high level. What a great pick. And so I also trust the fact that Tom Heckert knows what he's doing because I've seen it. And then we all know the track record of Mike Holmgren. So as we go through this, I'm looking forward to it. And one of the things we talked about is when this draft is over, let's come out of this thing with 7 draft picks that are going to help us be better.
Can you talk about your relationship with Mike Holmgren? You know, I mean, going back to the days when you hung out at practice at Green Bay.
Yeah, you know, this profession is about relationships. And so as you interact with people, you get to know people. And then as you become friendly with someone, you start to follow their career and learn from them and visit with them. And so I'm very fond of those days. I used to go to Green Bay and stay with my Uncle Fritz and Aunt Peggy. And then being an offensive guy, I would go in the office with them. And we'd get up early and we'd go in, we'd exercise, and I'd kind of hang around the office. And as a tight end coach at Michigan State, that was my first interaction with Andy Reid, who was the tight end coach. So I was trying to learn from him to be a better coach, and then obviously then the interaction with Mike Holmgren and then all the guys from that family of coaches. And so I'm very fond of those days. I think of them often, and you know, I'm glad I did it.
With the Rams, you're going to have to start at basically nothing to build a franchise. Now, when you go into Cleveland, where do you see the Browns at? How does your Rams experience kind of translate?
Well, I think each team's different, but I am impressed with the foundation that's there in Cleveland. I was very impressed with how hard the guys played throughout the season. I'm very impressed by some of the players that are still there. And I feel good as we move forward that we're going to add players to our roster that are going to make us better.
Have you had any, since you became the head coach of Cleveland, any correspondence texting with Sam Bradford and he congratulated you, said why you abandoned me?
Well, no, I actually have texted back and forth with Sam. And one thing I know about Sam, he's the right fit for the St. Louis Rams, and I'm looking forward to following his progress because we did get so close. But yeah, there's been some correspondence, and just like anything, when you develop a strong relationship with somebody, you wish them well in everything they do, and they're on the right track with the leadership that Billy Devaney and Kevin and obviously the coaching of Steve Spagnuolo. That organization's on their track to doing great things.
You probably haven't had time to think of it much, but that last game struggled offensively. What went wrong in Seattle?
Well, we lost, and I think you know, you can point to a lot of different things. We probably didn't execute quite as well as we would have liked to, and we fell short, obviously, on the scoreboard. I'll leave it at that.
Lawrence guy, table 3.
I didn't think so. I just think if you look back on it, I just think that anybody involved with that game just wishes we would have played better.
McCarthy, table 8. Mason Foster, table 1.
You know, I don't know. I'm not really familiar with the way that Josh teaches. I know he's had great success, obviously, places he's been. I have a lot of respect for him, and I know him personally, and I like Josh, and I think from what I know, he's a fine teacher, and I know Sam's an excellent pupil, so I think that's going to be a good combination.
Have you thought about having the Rams on the schedule next year?
I'm well aware we play the Rams. I'm looking forward to it. You know, when you play the game, until the game starts, it's fun to see the people that you were close to.